in the interview.
No, sir. Interview would be the first.
So first you didn't clear the prelims
No,
twice, then you cleared the written. Where how many times?
Sir, this is my second mains, and first time I cleared the mains. This time, sir.
And interview this the first time.
Yes.
Going to be.
First time he's cleared the main, so he's
Main.
been called for interviews.
Okay, I got it. So see, Shahji, uh, we have discussed your case quite a lot, and there is near unanimity among the members that you are a deserving person and you certainly have the qualities and of making it to a good service. Your first choice is IAS, second is IPS.
No, sir. First is foreign service.
Foreign service. So that's a very unique feature also. And that used to be my first choice also. But our days were different. Now I haven't come across anybody. I don't know how I didn't.
He's the first candidate in the entire array of interviews we've taken.
Yes, I have not come across anyone.
Few months.
If I had actually got there, I would have asked him a different set of questions.
Yes, international
And that we
relations.
then have.
Never mind, you can come again after some time. When is your interview?
So March 15th.
Oh, you have plenty of time.
We do meet here, and these people will keep you informed, and I'll tell you some things later. So, there is nothing wrong about Indian Foreign Service being the first choice. There is nothing wrong about IAS or IPS or anything being first choice. It has to be a choice, which is well understood by you. And they will ask you all the questions only on the point. So, why? Why is it your choice? They will not say what is good about foreign service, what is wrong about this one, that one. ये तो ज़रा गलत हो जाएगा. But it will all be centered around you and whether you have the understanding of making a choice. If I were the chairman of that board, I would certainly ask you. So very few people opt for it. But one good thing about that is that it is easier to get foreign service now than it is to get IAS and IPS. That has been because we have been going there also. And I haven't come across anyone opting foreign service these days as the first choice. In our time, it used to be exhausted in the
I
first
think there was
15
one
people.
student
अच्छा.
who came.
हमारे
It
पास
was second choice used to be.
सेकंड
Then
के
you
तो बहुत
proved
होते
them.
हैं
Then you proved
सेकंड के
them
तो
that
होते
it's-
हैं but मैं शायद नहीं रहा हूँ anyhow now where are we on the other side of it? I told you the good things about you and there are no very bad things, but the thing is that you have got to take the score up. You understand what I'm saying? And we will all give you the various suggestions on that one. And at the end, I will also give you a suggestion, which I give only to the very
Chosen
deserving, chosen good candidates, which I will not give right now. So having said that, I would ask Maleji to.
Okay, now there are a couple of observations I had to make. First, that you were well informed. However, before answering, you must ensure that you don't make a mistake in a hurry, right? Questions on football are the most likely questions for you, Indian football. There are two things that you must keep in mind. A, that first of all, in 1956 there was no Asian Games.
No, sir. I said.
One sec. Let me. What you said, I have heard, noted down. Therefore, I am repeating. Right. Also, that we need to be very careful about dates, and if you are not so sure, we should. I gave you a clue. Lord Jakarta, Asian Games, 1962. When you said yes, India won the Asian Games medal, and that you did not. It did not come out as your answer. When was last time that India won an Asian Games medal? Right. So if you hear the question carefully, you would have given. So that's one. Second, India and the Olympics. Why did India not qualify after 1960? Because that under 23 qualifying games, over 23 qualifying tournaments started and India could not qualify. The last time India went was in Rome. You knew the broad details, but the minor details, you were messing it up. You were muddled. So think twice before you speak. Listen to the question carefully and then you speak. Second thing that I want to suggest to you is that your demeanor and your gesture must give the impression to the board that there is not an iota of arrogance in your answers, right? You are being respectful, that you, even if you are differing, you differ with a sense of respect, which is not getting undermined by my actions or words. That's very important. Not only me, others also felt that way. They will tell you when they debrief you. Number 3. In your answer, whenever you prioritize, the most important point should come as number 1. Right? Whether it is football, whether it is nationalism in India, whether it is Sardar Patel, the most important point should be the first point. The first point is, in football, is that right from the time when the talent search has to be performed, till such time as you prepare a player to play at the national level, the system is not there, which chooses, selects, polishes, chisels, makes the person into a player. This is the biggest problem. Sub-juniors, juniors, district, state, interstate, interdistrict tournaments don't mean anything much. Subrata Cup football is not recognized for admission to Delhi University, you know that. If you have been the winner of Subrata Cup, you will not get 1 point for admission to Delhi University. So there is a basic problem where football is not being neither being played nor being inculcated in the crowd interested from level at the grassroots level to the top level in a structured manner. That is number 1, which was your 3rd, 4th point after I explored you. You kept saying club structure, this structure, that structure. All that is fine. This is very important. Which means that proper infrastructure for playing facility, proper coaching facilities, tournaments, rubbing your shoulders with the foreign teams at every level. It is very important. So that you, and unless you have that as a priority, you will not be able to do that. So, prioritize it. It's very important to prioritize. Similarly, in the answer, when you are a district collector, it's a very tricky question. And people would have told you not to speak anything against the government, which is not correct. You can take an anti-government stand, be polite but firm in whatever you believe is the correct thing. So, as a district collector, you have awareness. Spreading awareness is not enough. The taste of the pudding lies in eating. The old saying says, the taste of the pudding lies in eating. If you are the district collector and you are delivering in a way in which the popular notion defies what is being propagated, you are successful. Right. You very rightly said there are programs for minorities which need to be implemented. You've got the money, you've got the funds. The funds lapse, nobody bothers because it is not the priority. Neither of the government nor of the district administration which is. So, again, prioritizing. For Sardar Patel, right? He was fine, he was a nationalist and so on and so forth. Why is Sardar Patel criticized? Not because of his own doing. Or why is he praised? Not because of his own doing. The propaganda is built around undermining the role of Nehru by saying that Patel would have been a better prime minister. Whose value judgment is it? Who is deciding that Patel will be the prime minister or somebody else will be the prime minister in democratic system? You are challenging it. And then you are also pulling Gandhi in. Gandhi had no role to play. Gandhi was singing Ekla Chalo Re in the streets of Noakhali when India was celebrating independence. And he said, you remember his words? It is a day of blood and tears. The old man in his loincloth was all alone in the streets of Noakhali singing Ekla Chalo Re. There was nobody with him to celebrate independence. He couldn't care less about whether Patel. He wanted Jinnah to become the prime minister to avoid partition.
I know.
He offered it to Jinnah, right? So again,
And
that is
was very positive
that.
in
Sir,
that
there are some people who are trying to undermine the role of Jawaharlal Nehru, and the popular perception being spread, the perception being popularized, not by them, is through a propaganda based upon undermining the role of Nehru and highlighting the role of
Well, not partial, but partial.
You are not committing yourself to either pro-dispensation, government dispensation or whatever, but you are stating the truth
But I
as
don't
it
know.
comes. Again, priority.
Everybody was born
Which ones
partial.
should be the top? When I teach in college, and there are 10 points, causes for the fall of the Mughal Empire, right? Then we say, put the Jagidari crisis as number 1, not Bahadur Shah Jafar as the weak emperor, right? We say that, we teach it that way. That is how you prioritize your answer, right? So these are my suggestions. And also, humility is the best form of showing your conviction. Conviction doesn't need to be expressed through anything which smacks of arrogance. It doesn't show conviction, it shows dictatorial notions, right? So, and not that you are not humble, but you should be more expressive. One attitude is, yes, I have answered, what can you do? You may or may not agree with me. When somebody says, sir, I beg to differ, doesn't mean that he's begging before you. It's a style of saying. Right? It's a style of saying. So these are my comments, right?
Not much, I'll be very crisp because.
But there are many qualities. You have almost made it. You are quite there. So it could be.
That I will
that
summarize
you
for
will
him.
say.
I'll summarize it.
So I'll just be very crisp because I can see this also getting tired. Very well dressed, charming, smile is very endearing, clarity is there, use of words was very good, very few people can do that. Narrative built by right way, genius and deep discounts, very appropriately used. And that comes from the schooling you had at and you seem to be well read. You use the right example of election commission and EVM through hackathon, etc.
This comes with my friend.
Social exclusion, UPI.
It is still
Perfect. You hit the
blooming
nail.
up.
Now the
Oh,
side
wonderful.
which needs improvement, and you're one of the highest rated. Okay, don't forget that. Pause.
Sure.
Don't jump to an answer. A lot of things are coming to you intuitively because you've been to an ecosystem which breeds debates, intellectual thoughts, reading. So that's thanks to the school. Okay. The fact I asked you about food festival was not to check you, but to tell you, look, I know inside out. Okay, that was to tell you have a friend on your side. Because I could see somehow in your answers that kind of, complacence was being reflected by you, and so I could sense that. So I wanted to put you at ease, okay? And twice he told you, don't use the word we would like to see, use the third person. है ना, आपने citizens के लिए भी कहा. इसी तरह आपने hackathon के time पे का वो मैंने आपको बता ही दिया था. You said first you said leaders, then you said है ना. So please choose the words carefully. You have all the raw material with you, Suraj. But now that's making you a bit of complacent because you've probably seen other kids and look, I'm a little better than them. I've got Delhi background. I've got awesome schooling. I'm very good boss. But that is where you are making your mistake. Okay? Please filter the words first internally and then use it. Because people out here operate on reverse psychology. If you are nervous, we will try to put you at ease. If you are coming on my face, I'll try to pull you down. ठीक है ना? So अब आप तो आ रहे हैं अपने एक set of complacence से कि मैं तो पटेलियन हूँ, मेरे को सब आता है, और ये बच्चे जो आते हैं ये तो पीछे से आते हैं, इनको इतना काम पता है. पर अब यहाँ जो हम लोग बैठे हैं, we don't see what you are telling us. We see the journey you've covered. Journey not in distance, journey from कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल एम्प्लॉय का लड़का आके जब मुझे ये वर्ड्स बोलेगा तो मैं ज़्यादा खुश होंगी. अगर आप मुझे बोल रहे हैं, I'm used to it. I'm not getting impressed. I'm trying to rip you apart. I want to shatter you. I'll put you under various stress. That is what he was doing. This question, then brown rice, then red rice. The idea was to shake your complacence. Okay, you should be more on guard. Okay, we would love to dig our claws in a meat like you. Okay, आम बच्चों के साथ नहीं, आम बच्चों को will try नहीं, बच्चा relax and all that. Next is you got unnerved. By the end of it, you gave up. It means you are not able to. You need to build up your endurance. आपको शुरू में लगा मैं जीत गया, जैसे आपको लगा मेरे हाथ से गेंद जा रही है, आपने mentally you gave up. Don't do it. It's going to be a battle of nerves. Okay, keep your best hidden for the end, because that's the time you're getting tired. That's the time you need your ammunition. Brahmastra should come in the end. आप कब उल्टा हो रहा था? आपने शुरू में you gave us your best and then tuck. Okay, by this time you had lost it. Kerala, why were you not prepared? Why did you throw words like wisdom and research if you're not able to talk about it? Okay, and आपने क्या किया? You did unknown to known लेके गए हमें. I mean, when he was asking you why it's called doctorate of philosophy, and you picked up philosophy and you broke it into parts, because that was something you knew, and you said, okay, Lord, let me distract him. But the moment you distracted, he was faster than you. He said, okay, then tell me what is research, tell me what is wisdom. बहुत सोच के
इसका आंसर मालूम है ना? You know why is it called Doctor of Philosophy? No. Philosophy, the literal meaning is thirst of knowledge.
Not wisdom.
Right? Thirst of knowledge. That is the real meaning of philosophy. And when we say Doctor of Philosophy, basically we say it because it is a rational and logical investigation. Mind these two words. Remember these forever. Rational and logical investigation into fundamental aspects of any subject. Whether it is physics, whether it is history, whatever. Rational and logical investigation. That is what is called research. Into fundamental. It could be criminology, but still it is so. Thirst of knowledge for rational and logical investigation into anything is why we call it Doctor of Philosophy. And this was first thought about in the world which has given the largest number of philosophers. And from there it transpired that it was the best thing to use for those who have done original work. Originality is to be measured by rationality, by logic. Therefore it is called philosophy.
The beautiful, the wondrous thing is that country has not only produced the maximum number of philosophers, but it also subscribed to the philosophy of gladiators.
Yeah.
Yeah, understood.
And वो जो stadiums वो बनाए थे उन्होंने, वो अभी तक है ग्रीस में जो
Arenas, all those, all those agoras and arenas which were made.
It was going to another world. Your fundamentals are still not at place. Kerala, newspaper, Hindu बोल रहे हो, कौन से साल में आया? बोलना शुरू किया फिर भूल गए. ठीक है, फैक्ट्स निकाल के लाओ. जितने years याद करोगे, ये मेरे को पता है, बटालियंस के लिए बहुत मुश्किल है. रट्टा is not your nature. Please do it. You coming to, you already have, as I said, raw material with you. Now find the right boxes to put that raw material, and those boxes would be numbers. Okay. But you are awesome. You're one of the best. But abhi nahi. Obviously, you're still not there. You reach the door, but not inside.
I have nothing to add. Everything is. Only thing I would say that you are just about to scale Everest.
नहीं सर, आपने बॉडी लैंग्वेज बहुत अच्छा बोला था, जो मैंने कैच किया था, वो
करके
बता
सर ने
सर आप करके दिखाओ. आपने मुझे भी समझाया.
जैसे I am.
आपका आप ठीक है बिल्कुल.
Suraj, you are. Right now, it may be. It is sometime.
Inadvertently also, you should not be doing that.
Jैसे suppose I am coming. It is like that. State of mind comes in body language. So it is like this. It looks like, carry on. And another way around is that if my state of mind is very respectful to the person, then I'm coming and it's not acting, it's really coming from within. So if whenever we meet sir, he's in spite of holding so high profile post, United Nations, here, there, but still he treats us like we are among equals. That is generosity which we feel inspired, and then we pass on to next generation. That if he is extending so much of respect to us, and personally I don't stand anywhere. having all India services, but services doesn't matter. What matter? Personality. And it is the half an hour that may change your life completely. So, and you are not basically that. It happens like when it may be, I'm not psychologist, just I may add, because of taking some oxygen here, they're coming, wearing suit, it becomes a bit uncomfortable wearing suit for whole day.
I was trying not to slouch. So
No, 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 no.
speaking-
No,
No,
nothing.
that's
Don't-
not what he's
No,
saying.
no, no,
don't
you were
Don't take
perfect.
this wrong on it.
You are
No, no,
perfect.
nothing. Just let me complete.
एक जगह थोड़ा सा हुआ था वो
वो
he
क्या होता
noticed.
है ना कि that was, don't take it that way, please.
We are here to help you out. Now, we are not here to pinpoint.
It is like
You're
the
awesome.
state of mind is like a bit taking moxation
Ah,
elsewhere.
Down
Suppose
there. वो नहीं है.
having soup
He
or
has to
whatever,
reassure you.
wearing suit, waiting outside, then coming in. It comes in our body language like, let it be. Could you get me?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
You got it?
So you are not, it's not, and don't take it too hard.
Even split of second thing, I told you, no, we'll rip you apart more than others. You have the raw material, you have come from such a good place, background. So तुम्हारे को तो भैया, you have to be perfect, you have no choice. ठीक है? And incidentally, now when he closed, before he closes, my daughter knows you, Ishita Malhotra. Have you heard of her?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
She was your senior, 1 year senior. Before I saw that, I called her up and she said, Mama, it's Suraj of Life of Pi or somebody
No,
else.
no, he was in my batch.
I think she was not, she was.
He will know me, but he was in my batch.
Suraj was in your batch.
Yes,
Ishita
yes.
is 1 year senior to you. You were in that girl's, Likhita's batch.
Yes.
Yeah, Likhita Banerjee. She's daughter of my best friend now.
She's a human rights lawyer.
Yes, she's a human rights.
Okay, with everybody's permission, I will
Come
first
on.
of all say this to you that you see, you are at this stage of debriefing or whatever you might put it, of sharing our views with you and taking stock of the interview. The interview which we hold is never a coaching type of interview. We hold it because we want you to feel what it's going to be like in your first interview at the UPSC, and believe me, all of us have been there in some capacity or the other. I was also, of course, Joint Secretary in the UPSC for a number of years, but then later on I was called for interviews also. Then I went abroad. So the fact of the matter is that we've all discussed your interview. As I told you in the beginning also, that we find that you're almost there and certainly capable of getting above 170. But you will have to work hard for this last mile, 10 or 15 marks. These are really difficult marks because the UPSC board members, at least the chairman, knows. I don't think all the members are given any information on the marking, but the chairman shares the views with everybody. That 15 marks he also knows, or she also knows, that is going to make all the difference between you and the others. So they have to be very careful that they are not being prejudicial, biased, or over lenient or over, strict. So now, what is it that you must do to take these marks up? We have candidates coming here who we very frankly say we assess you at 140, but we are not saying that to you. Saying 170. Now, there are some suggestions which are about your physical behavior and so on, body language, posture, sitting. She's already complimented you on your clothes. Fine, that is what I would also like to say. But there are other aspects of your personality test. It is called personality test, but to be honest with you, it's a bit of a misnomer. It's not just studying your personality. I'm sure it's not that. It is also basically to see your comprehension, to see your quick responses, to see your presence of mind, honesty of purpose, etc., etc. Now, they may be seen by some people as personality traits. So it's not basically your physical attire or physical thing, but they do count, they do count. Now, having said that, what is it that you must do to take it up now quickly before 15th of March. There are a few suggestions. One is that from about, today is the 3rd, right? From about the 6th or so, read the newspapers very carefully, the print media. If you're given to reading, let's say, some magazine which you're very impressed with because of the writers, then do that also. The articles are sometimes very, very nice. But at the same time, the newspapers do have very good articles every day at the center page and editorials and so on. So why do I say that? That it's preferable to focus on those rather than on the electronic media, because the electronic media has to sell to a lot of ads, to a lot of this thing, you know. But these writers, basically, they are picked up and chosen by the editorial board to, write these articles. Or the people market themselves by writing these. But they're all, as far as I know, if you go to a good newspaper, like the Hindu and the Hindustan Times and so on, you do come across a lot of it. And then current affairs will always be important, because the people who come to interview you, they are basically, always conditioned by the recent happenings. So you will have to take stock of the current affairs, and nothing better to do than to read the print media, and also to go to the internet and see some leads, etc. But you'll have to be selective. You'll have to be a little careful, not just be, because there are a lot of things which are not misinformation, but they are, too much fluff, and then you'll get confused about the simplest things. Now, your form is very important, this one, and mind you, what subjects you've done, what subjects you offered, your hobbies, your sports, your stage, your school. Sardar Patel name is very inviting for anybody who wants to question. These you should be extremely careful about and extremely thorough about, because it's not enough to say that the present regime is doing this or the Sardar Patel, but to get into it and study this aspect, that why is Sardar Patel getting into focus at this stage after so many years, and with his almost dislike for the righteous and for those people who are now making so much claim on him, Mahatma Gandhi also, and they were actually killed, and at the same time they are extolling him, at the same time they're pulling him down. You read their articles in the magazine, RSS magazines and all that, they pull down everybody. But at the same time, you see, you can't say this in the interview. Your questions must be answered without any kind of political leanings. But I'm telling you this with meaning very seriously, that you are not to project the current government views either. It's not good to feel that, oh, UPSC, if I praise the present government, they'll be very happy. No, not at all. UPSC members are hardly interested in that. But they want your viewpoint. And what I was impressed with by your answer is your awareness. You're aware of many things, a broad spectrum of things. And what is a generalist all about? These days, people, coming, we have MTechs coming before us almost every time we come here. We have MBAs, we have everybody coming here. But in my time, it was unheard of. At best, we did an MA in economics or something like that, but history was much more, popular. But at the same time, you have this now. Whether it's the IAS, IFS, or IPS, the fact of the matter is that your duties will always be concentrated on generalists' role and jobs, but with a lot of conditioning now on a number of things which we didn't have. In our time, we still didn't have the IT revolution. We didn't have this communication thing or ICT or whatever. Later on, I did work on this. When I went into the United Nations, I had to study, I had to work very hard on it. But at the same time, in our time, we didn't have all these things. So what did we focus on? The Constitution of India, the laws, which you still have to do. You have to focus on. So basically, you will have to answer the questions within the ambit of our existing constitutional positions and laws. If you get into any kind of tight spot at any stage, think about it in a second, and this should come very quickly to you. Can I take recourse to something like rule of law or the CRPC or something like that if a situation is built up, a scenario is given to me? If you were the collector, if you were the SP, what would you do? If you were the ambassador, what would you do? Then, if I start answering as though I'm going to bring about some legislation on that, it's not possible. You have to work within the given ambit. So that's allowed. Now, coming down to brass tacks, apart from reading of the newspaper, I would say start today. Don't miss any opportunity. Don't miss any opportunity. This is the opportunity for you. You have the video on your interview. You have all these suggestions from these honorable learned members. It will be not possible to meet them again and again. They've given their time and come here. And they've given you very... But what do you need to do? You need to exercise your mind. They can't exercise the mind. We can do it for us. We can't exercise your mind for you. Right? So what are we trying to do? We're trying to provoke your thinking in the right direction. So kindly sit before the video whenever they allow it. I don't know when they will make it available to you, today or tomorrow, I don't know when they do it. But do it very carefully. Spend 2 hours, I would say. If I were you, I would do that. And then, make your notes. Very bad English is there, but I use that word every day. Copious notes. Detailed is copious, okay? Make them in different directions. Individual, group, legal aspect, this thing, that thing, all the different subjects that you cover, what are the subjects you wish to cover, and what did you get from this interview, from that point. Put them down, go back. There are some general suggestions that you've given you. Mind you, these answers and these questions will not be repeated there. These are supposed to condition your thinking. Condition your thinking in the right direction. So, do that. And you come back. I would like to see that, what you do. All this writing, etc. You don't have to show me anything in that, but I will remember whatever has been said here. They are all professors there. So basically, I would say that you have to convince us the next time you appear before us that you have some value added to this, personality of yours. If that is done, may I say this to you, that you have the capacity to go up to 190, 200 out of 275, and you can't be kept back from police service in that case, or any of your first 2 or 3 choices. But these marks, etc., can also oscillate. You see, and they will come down. If we have rated you like this, you see, we have only done it on the basis of what we think, on a relative basis. Relative scale, so many people have appeared and all that. We compare you to the others, right? But supposing it comes down from 170, 75 to, let's say, 160 or 155, then it's a bit difficult to gauge the position, because we don't know how you've done your written, even you will not know. But the thing at hand is to do your best now, not to think of your written marks at all. You can't do anything about that. You can certainly do something about the coming event. And don't worry if something is there to rattle you. Don't be unnerved. I think she has already said this to you. I wasn't here at that. Very easy to get unnerved. Very easy. Because the human mind is like that, you see. And one wrong question in a bad direction, and you start thinking, hey, I've done so badly, I haven't been able to answer the question on football now. So then the next following questions, there will be 5 or 6 people there, then they become disasters also. So, wo jo ho gaya, to chhod diya. You answered, you've done it. We all did that in IQ. How can you answer everything? But be very sure about this. Like football, did you mention it here? then you have to be very sure about it. You can't say 1956 because it says Asian Games didn't take place. And what are the different things? You know, you could, for instance, think in your mind, at the back of your mind, what has brought up cricket in our country? Surely not just, it's not that we all are fond of cricket and so on and so forth. It is Ranji Trophy every year. It's the Ranji matches. It is what those countrywide sports at the Ranji level, what they do for this country, nobody else, nothing else has ever done. And that has excited the interest in that game, thanks to that Gaikwad guy and what he's done for this. It all started from there. It didn't start from Delhi and Bombay. So what I'm trying to tell you is that you have also to see, like Maniji said, prioritize. Well, there are various reasons for football not being there, despite a poor country and this and that. We don't need resources. We still don't play football to that extent, leave alone Goa and 3 or 4 other states in the northeast, etc. So popular nahi hai. It's not that popular. Why is it not popular? You can't. So you have to keep the. Now, in the same way, there was a question she asked. There was a candidate from Manipur, and he had also given football. She very quickly said, "This is a quick round of questions from me. Name 3 things pertaining to football." He quickly said it. He didn't have to think much about it. So it convinced us all that he has put down something here which he's really interested in. Very simple question, simple answers. But not every time we will be given a simple question. This thing about the Kerala floods, I know that you gave the right figure for the rainfall. But there is another very important thing about the dam. Did he say something about the dam?
Yeah, sure.
He answered the question.
He answered it.
Yeah.
Okay. There were many questions you answered well. And
He
I
was,
must say,
he was very clear that what went wrong there. The only thing was he was coming into steps. Like in one way, if you say it was all at the cost of tourism, they spoiled the environment. Because of that, I helped you out by saying development without impact assessment.
oh, they may also ask you about Sabrimala.
Really.
I have a feeling they will, because everybody thinks of Sabrimala when you think of Kerala, and it is assuming different proportions now.
Mulla Periyar, these are
बस
they are asking.
करेगा क्योंकि सबरीमाला तो पहले जो था वो अब नहीं है. Lot of people have turned in favor of the Supreme Court judgment, and the review case is not going anywhere. It will not go in favor of Sabrimala board or whatever that is, Samsthan, that is also now not very much insisting on. And why the hell should it? And people who are comparing to that Muslim lady's case, I don't know, that's also going too far. How can you go that far and say this and say that? So basically, the fact of the matter is, in this modern age, you can't really actually think of that also. And I believe there is nothing to say that Ayyappa said anything against this. They just presumed it.
Even so long back, what I, to the best of my understanding, women had been
Allowed.
in Sabrimala.
Allowed. 18s.
ये अभी
30.
लोगों ने इतना ही.
So even recently, TK Nair IAS, he had said his mother had taken him to Sabrimala, and he was a child. So it's very recent.
Mother is old now.
No, when he was a child.
Oh,
For his first visit to the temple after he was born.
I see.
So it nullifies the case pretty much. He's a very well-known figure.
DK Nair was secretary to the Prime
Yes,
Minister.
sir.
He was my boss also. So I was just trying to see whether it's the same guy. So that happened to him. He was from Punjab rather. Wonderful meeting you.
Anything you want to ask?
No, now this is a round that you can ask questions also.
Sir, you had said about privatizing, sir. So when we want to prioritize, I mean, if we take a pause, is it fine if we
Absolutely. Absolutely, it is considered the done thing. That you don't have to just and this pause, if it is going to be longer than 10 seconds, then you can say it's I just need some time to put my thoughts in the right manner before you, with your permission. And then in the meantime you can do it. That's absolutely done. All your answers I found that there was a problem of prioritizing. This is, once I'll share my experience with you. a friend of mine, we were together. I had left AMC, remained in AIMS, then he went to England, and he's a very senior consultant now. When he was a junior, I met his professor. We were both studying. He came and he had invited his professor. I had invited my professor over Indian lunch in an Indian restaurant. So he met me and he said, look, and that fellow was a very hilarious fellow. He was a very senior, he was Queen's consultant, Chelsea Westminster Hospital. He told me, when you ask, why is it so, he asked me, Meera, that people coming from your country and doctor, you will keep your mouth shut. Uttam was sitting here, said, just don't speak. Why is it that whenever I ask anyone coming from India about the symptoms or the diagnosis of any disease, the rarest of the rare is the first one that they would come up with. The common ones they would simply not utter. So, for example, if I ask that what causes tuberculosis, the rarest of the rare they will take out from the last page of Harrison's medicine textbook and say, sir, this is one of the causes. The most common one, they will not speak. Why is it so? Why are you Indians always thinking about the rarest of the rare when an answer has to be given? Why can't you come straight to the very first, second, third, fourth? And if I ask you, no, some more, then you come with the rarest of the rare. This is our problem. We are not able to prioritize. That is the issue, right? We are not able to prioritize. It is a trait, because we think that one of the indices of our merit is how easily can we remember things which do not occur in normal circumstances to people. That is what will make us different from others, because the way we are trained, we are always emphasizing on showing ourselves as different from others. And how will that happen? By talking about things which others may not be even thinking. And that is where we lose the focus, right? So I have to ask you 3 questions to bring you to the point, right? So this is what I meant. And again, my problem is, I'm thinking as your benefactor, my problem is that if I'm not able to get the best out of you, or to tell you how to get the best out of you, I have failed in my duty sitting here on this chair. And that is where I think that take a pause, think of the most. You are a collector, you've got enormous funds. I told you that he has been a collector in 3 districts, old, 6 new, right? Now, he has got funds in his hand, he's a Raja of that district, right? Now, he has to ensure that nobody feels left out there. There's a lot of fund for the underprivileged sections, including minorities. He will use the funds in the right manner. People's notion about nationalism and right-wing fundamentalism will get dispelled immediately. सब ऐसे ही बकवास करते हैं. सरकार तो पैसा खर्च कर रही है, हम लोगों को दे रही है. हमारी भैंस के लिए दिया, हमारे सुअर के लिए दिया, हमारी बकरी के लिए दिया. हम कौन से हिंदू थे? हमें दिया, बकरी पालने का पैसा दिया. When it comes to delivery, I met the collector of the district in which Kalahandi falls, in Odisha.
Very backward.
Right. People had been dying of starvation deaths there in Kalahandi. It was very, very backward. Now that fellow who became famous there as a collector, right? He told me that whatever he did very simple thing. He ensured a proper delivery mechanism and use it as a CBM. You were talking about CBM first, delivery later. Awareness. CBM is a natural outcome of delivery. Confidence is built the moment you deliver, right? The entire world is talking about Imran Khan today, not about Narendra Modi. Because we sitting in India may criticize him as much as we like, but the fellow has earned brownie points in the international arena. You know this, everybody knows this, we are not talking about it. Because of our nationalism, brand of jingoism, whatever it is. So, that is what I was trying to tell you, that you must prioritize. Get the answer, hit the nail at the head first, the first one, which is easy to handle. The smallest, at the end. The big one, thak. एक अंदर गया, 2 गया, 3 गया, 4 गया, 180 तक पहुंच गया, अब 200 के लिए ट्राई करना है. ठीक है? That is how it is. And I'm telling you, whatever I have observed in several boards, including UPSC from time to time, that the idea is, and this This is the swift action response mechanism. This is the stimulus response mechanism of your brain which is put to test. When the stimulus is given to you, how does it respond? Does it respond in the odd manner or does it respond in the most apt manner? Top! Yes, this is it. Right? Do you think that people of this country have any problem with BJP coming to power? No. Today, if BJP declares that Nitin Gadkari is our candidate, many people who are now wary of the position to be taken in the elections because of Narendra Modi, they will be very happy. The BJP ko denge vote. Because Indians cannot tolerate arrogance. It is a very big problem. The moment you show arrogance, you are gone. Jayaprakash Narayan was a very humble man. Gandhi, first thing he did, he showed his humility. He did not do anything. These gestures were very important. He was called a bourgeois mascot by R.P. Dutt. He was called a leader of the Baniyas. He was called a friend of Birla. He didn't man. He said, ठीक है, मैं तो बकरी रखता हूँ, चरखा काटता हूँ, कपड़ा पहनता हूँ, लॉ इनको, पैदल चलूँगा, चलना है तो चलो, नहीं चलना है तो पीछे रहो, मैं दांडी जा रहा हूँ. He went to the Queen Roundtable Conference, carried a small pottery of salt and asked for water and mixed some salt in it. What was he doing? He was defying the orders of the Queen. He said, this is the salt that I made at Dandi. He carried that salt in his pocket. He was an astute politician. Right? But this is where, what I was trying to tell you, you have it in you, just learn to prioritize.
Oh yes, you certainly have it.
You have it in you.
I will, second thing, this question, when you're asking about Sardar Patel and him being involved, sir, I was very afraid about whether, I would say something.
Yes, you were, but then truth came out. You're being truthful.
Yeah.
But being truthful and being pragmatic are two different things. There are two parallel lines which may not meet in infinity. Let me tell you this. This is not, I am not mincing words. What you would have said, you said, sir, people may say whatever they like, and propaganda does have a place sometimes in increasing the popularity of an individual or a party. However, I feel that there have been some misguided attempts at undermining the role of Nehru, for which they think that if they highlight the role of Patel vis-a-vis Nehru and say that Patel was discriminated against, Nehru's position will get undermined. So there is a fight between Nehruvians and Patelians, and that is what is now taking this form. If you would have given me this answer, I would have accepted it. You said the same thing in a different way, but this is true, isn't it? Now, I saw a very nice one-liner, came as a joke on WhatsApp. Nehru, you must resign. So, first I read it and I said, what does it mean? Nehru, you must resign.
I still the Prime Minister.
Because anything that goes wrong here, Nehru is being blamed. Nehru is being blamed. Nehru, आप resign करो. जाओ तुम अब काम खत्म करो, इस्तीफा दो. Nehru इस्तीफा दो. So, that is fine. All that is okay. You don't be your normal self, right? Be polite. Politeness and firmness, they are friends. They are brothers in arms. You don't have to be impolite to be friendly.
So, sir, in such a situation, if we mention, say, something like right wing, or I was very, sir, apprehensive about saying that the right wing does the propaganda.
If I ask you a question, I was not expecting you to say right wing fundamentalism. If I asked you right wing fundamentalism, you said the so-called right wing fundamentalism.
So-called बोल देना चाहिए.
You would have said the so-called right wing fundamentalism.
Yeah, always.
Non-committal Rovita, always.
Get rid of the...
Sometimes these tricks of the trade don't get into your mindset.
It's
but you have to
popularly
say
believed,
it's
so
popularly
called.
believed. It's being talked about. Since I have used the friend,
Patelian नहीं बोल
if I have used the,
tough.
no, if I have used this, अरे मैडम पटेलियन हम इतना चकमा दे जाते हैं इंटरव्यू में, एक पर एक हमने देखा है.
सर वो बोल
ऐसे
रहे
ऐसे
जो आप
कर
बोल
जाते
रहे हो
हैं.
ना सो कॉल्ड ये रट्टा मारेगा वहां से नहीं निकलेगा.
The so-called is fine because I am saying it, na. You are quoting me. You are answering the question. So what you what you call is right-wing fundamentalism. It's not that there's not an element of truth in what you are saying. I cannot deny that. But at the same time, let us try to understand the context in which this opposition to or this popularity of Patel, the whole propaganda is built around. Right? put it in the right context.
Exactly.
But Patel's greatness was recognized and acknowledged by everyone in the Congress party. Nobody can deny it. His dead body, father's dead body was lying. Gandhi and Rajendra Prasad both scolded him. Gandhiji was in tears when Rajan Babu went and told him that his father's body is lying, the telegram has come, and the fellow has to make the arrangements. He is not left for his father's funeral. So Gandhi was extremely unhappy. He said, "You go. What are you doing here?" He said, "No, how could I have gone? You have given me this responsibility. I have to do it." You see.
This
Also-
I was a bit apprehensive, sir. I mean,
No,
if I
it's all
say-
right. No, don't be apprehensive. Calling
नहीं,
a spade is what a bureaucrat is expected to do.
और थोड़ा आपका क्योंकि फिलॉसफी वगैरह लिखा है ना, तो गांधीयन फिलॉसफी का भी
देखो, मैं आपको बता दूं, बहुत टाइम नहीं है, हम लोग को भी जाना है, आपको भी जाना है। एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल दे देता हूं सर का। He was collector of a district, and hardcore BJP candidate was there, standing there for elections, right? A devoted, dedicated BJP RSS worker, honest to the pie, and he went to see him in one of his casual visits, and he said, "Sir, elections are approaching. If you have any doubt over anything going wrong against you in the elections, please feel free to get me transferred." He didn't want to be controversial because he was not a Hindu fundamentalist, neither a Hindu nor a fundamentalist. And that gentleman said, "Why do you think so? What made you think so? You were made the collector of this district after thorough inquiry, whereby we were assured that you are a non-partisan kind of a person. I don't really mind." And it didn't stop there. It went on and on, on and on, on and on, on and on. His credibility and objectivity were beyond questioning, beyond doubt. And the fellow had the prudence to judge it and to give him a clean chit, right? So that is where I would have given you 200. I'm not bound by what Mr. Modi thinks. UPSC is not run by people who are only appointed by Modi ji.
No, not at all.
Because those who are appointed by Modi ji will continue to rule or to be a board member even after Modi ji goes, if God forbid he goes somewhere or other. They will remain there. Right? It is a wrong notion which is being, I have been told by some people, some of my own students who have been to one or two institutes here on Pusa Road itself, in one of these mock interviews, that never criticize the government. This government is intolerant. And the government is not conducting my interview, na. If I am being judged by Arnab Goswami or Rajat Sharma, then I will be apprehensive. Right?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
All the
you.
best.
thank you, sir.
I'm sure.